Hi, I've been inhaling solder fumes my entire life. Like, you know when you talk to like older experienced engineers and they're all like, when I was your age, I used to eat that stuff by the pound. I learned to solder when I was 4 years old, and I used to play with this stuff. And then they're like talking like, because of all of like the, lead. Oh, your generation, you don't know hard manual labor. You don't. Totally right. I don't know. I don't work. And it's just, man, it's just the most compelling thing you've ever heard, right? It's like, I want to be like this guy. Where's my lead? All right, but don't fall for it. Lead is bad. I mean, I guess touching it's fine. I've been fine. Oh, I'm starting to sound like one of them. When I was your age, I used to. Lead fumes, if you inhale it, it's toxic. It's bad. I need my lungs to work fine. Like, remember, I'm a saxophone player. I want to be able to do that more and make people uncomfortable with jazz. That's my thing. I want to keep my lungs healthy, and I've put it off for so long until today. Get excited because I have something to show you. Alright, I should probably give you some backstory as to why I'm doing this. You see, I used to live in some pretty moldy places. I went from Arizona, which is just dry as hell. You won't get any mold anywhere for any reason at any time. It just doesn't happen. And then I went right to Tennessee, which if you have allergies to mold and mildew, don't live in Tennessee. And it's not like it was my fault. It's just, man, that's just the way it is. I like dehumidify running all the time, like air filters everywhere. And I've gotten used to that, like just dealing with mold and mildew. And I have an air filter running like at all times, literally all the time, a HEPA filter, because I'm kind of concerned. And there's like all these studies that show that, if you're exposed to mold and mildew, it interferes with your brain. Maybe it's too late for me. I also realized my filter's not running. Let me get a little brain blast and fix my lungs real quick. Now that air filter is usually running 24/7. I just got back from a trip, forgot to turn it back on. But it usually is running all the time for all kinds of things, just dust, allergens, whatever. It's summer here in Georgia, and man, are my allergies going off, but the filter helps quite a bit. But all these years, I've neglected to take care of myself when I solder. I've kind of just sit there at the table, solder, and just take it in. And, realizing that's a bad idea. And with the help of some of my fans, like you saw in the last video, a small HEPA filter and some 3D printed parts, we're gonna get it done today. But what if you wanna go the easy route? I mean, you can. Like, all right, let's hop on Amazon for just a second. All right, Amazon, what do we got? Let's, solder fume extractor. Okay. See, so what I was expecting to show you was something like this. And this is perfectly fine. We're gonna get a big picture. This is perfectly fine. Like, you see, it just kind of sits there and you're soldering a board or something like that. And this is probably okay, but let me ask you this. What if the project you're working on can't fit on your table? Let me explain. I used to do audio equipment work, and I would work on amplifiers, PA systems, really big, heavy equipment, and it just wouldn't go on the desk, and it just was cumbersome to work with. So if I had to solder something, I would do it on the floor. You wanna if you're soldering, you got your hand, the soldering iron, you got your solder, your hand's already taken up, and you use the helping hands where you can, but you still need to have pretty good control over your solder and your iron. You want a third hand for this? You're gonna use a third hand? You see what I mean? And, also, only 115 CFM? I know we can do better than that. Yeah, But for sure, there's stuff like this. This is a fume extractor, and it's floor mounted. It's got those caster wheels on it. That's actually pretty cool. And I would love something like this, but do you see the problem? I was gonna say something like these all kind of suck, but they're fine. I just really want to over-engineer something. I really want to over-engineer this. Let's start with the fan. So this thing I've had for a very long time. It is crazy powerful. It's 300 cubic feet per minute. And when I was little, it cut my finger off. Not completely off, but like, you know, it like sheared off like a good chunk. And I remember that pain. Yeah, don't stick your fingers into powerful fans, kids. Anyway, I needed a powerful fan here because it needs to pull air through this HEPA filter. I am sure you're familiar with a lot of the small HEPA filters like I have over here. They use filters like this that are really small. They have like one side that's just like a dust filter, and then they have the HEPA component and then some activated charcoal in the back. Really simple, but my plan here is to use this and sort of put the fan in front of it. So the fan is pulling air this way through the filter and then out. And then we pretty much just need parts that'll connect them like that. And then I have a flexible tube that should hold its shape pretty well. So the idea is, yeah, there it is. Can kind of just mount it and point it wherever it needs to go. And it'll remove the fumes, and that's all I need. So there's that. And finally, the power supply. I have this. I got this fairly cheap. I don't really trust it that much, but here's the deal. This power supply can supply 20 amps at 12 volts. This thing's gonna draw like 3. It'll be fine. And as part of my design, I wanna have 12 volts coming down to my desk so I can have a high current 12 volt power supply if I ever need that. So with these 4 components, let's go ahead and design something. Keep in mind, I am not a 3D modeler and my CAD skills are, so these took a long time to print, and I didn't actually print them. It was a friend of mine who printed them. He's got a 3D printer and was happy enough to do this all for me, but man, I feel so bad for them because these did not print out nicely. And they were a challenge just because of the scale and a lot of the angles. Like, all right, so like this one, for example, this one goes from the tube connects down here, kind of like bolts on right here, and it goes right up here, and the filter sits here, and these little like extrusions hold in that the pre-filter to the rest of the filter. So the filter itself will actually sit inside here while the thing's running, and I'll probably use some tape to tape up the gap, but then you'll notice here I have a indent. I have like a little cutout, and I want to show you what that's for because it's a very interesting idea. The way I'm going to mount this is going to be interesting, and I'm not sure if it's going to work at all yet. I think it will, and I've done the measurements, but all right, come here, take a look. All right, this is my workbench. You remember my workbench, right? Yeah, it's very messy right now, but this is my workbench. Look how high this post goes up here. Look at that. So the idea is this thing is gonna mount to the side of this post, and it's gonna be clamped to the post both here and at the top, so it won't slip down. And that will get the tubing really, really close to wherever I'm working on the desk. And the tubing should be long enough that it will actually go past the desk and should be able to go down here to whatever I'm working on. So this indentation right here is actually for this clamp that will sit right in that gap and actually clamp it to the monitor stand. And then at the very top where I actually mount the fan, I have this piece, which will actually only bolt to the fan in 2 locations. So this is for one corner and that's for another corner. And on the bottom, oh, let me get a better angle. On the bottom, there's this hole right here that will actually sit on top of the monitor stand. So it won't be able to slip downwards over time. It'll be held there. And I've also designed it so that the power supply can get some air. You'll notice that this is kind of slanted a little bit, and I did this on purpose. Take a look at the power supply bracket. So the power supply will go on top of here, and then this part will mount to this part, right? Yeah, okay, right down there, right here. So this, where it is right here, mounts right in there, just like that. And then that way the power supply can be directly cooled with the exhaust from the fan. And then I actually have two holes here, and this is for power. So one hole will be for the power cord that comes up from the wall, and the other side will be for the fan circuitry and also for an additional 12-volt power supply rail that I can access from my desk easily when I need, like I said, the high current 12-volt applications. I think it'll be pretty cool. So let's go ahead and just, whoa, look at that. I have parts. That transition's gonna get old after a while, but let's go ahead and admire what was printed for me by my good friend. Thank you friend. Thank you so much. All right, I'm back. I wanted to go get a smoothie. I'm a little hungry. All right, cool, we have stuff. So I'm gonna do a bit of a dry fit here, just make sure everything kind of goes together the way I want. So I'd say let's start with the filter. So this should just kind of plop in like that. Oh, that's the perfect fit. Yeah. Nice. This side is filtered, and then we have the other side, and that looks good to me. Yeah, awesome. And then this kind of goes like this, but you'll notice it doesn't have the little protrusions to hold the filter in. That's fine. My buddy had a bit of an issue trying to get this printed properly, so he sliced it off, and just, I'm left with this, which I think is gonna work just fine. If I really have a problem, then I can just tape the filter down or something, but that'll go like that, and then I'll taper on the outside. It's not perfectly flat with the rest of the body, but I think that's fine. So it'll look like that, like a little filter beehive. But I'll set that aside for later, because now this is where the fan sort of comes into play. And this will go just like that. Let me rotate it, turn it to the right way. Nice. Oh, I'm happy with that. I think I'm gonna pause the video here, get screws and stuff, and then just put this all together. Oh yeah. Right. This side, so this side needs this. It goes like that, all right. Oh, this thing is already looking weird. I love it. All right, fan and filter assembly done. Here's the power supply. Kind of fits just like that. So there's your power supply. Oh, and of course, not a bad fit. And then of course, all of this will sit, oh Jesus, okay, on that. All right. Oh. All right, I am gonna come back to this tomorrow because I need to wire it all up and prepare some epoxy and some hot glue and seal in some cracks, and maybe figure out a bit of a redesign so that this thing isn't kind of just like that. And yeah, there's still some things to figure out. So I'll see you tomorrow. All right, it's been actually a few days. I didn't do laundry, so I'm still wearing the shirt, but take a look. It's done. And it looks so weird, but it's done. It's got its own death cable that's wired into this death area. The fan's wired in. There's a little button. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. Let's plug it in. All right, it is live. Here we go. Oh. That's pretty good suction. Let me get like a candle or something. All right, well, I don't have a smoke machine, but I do have these candles. So I'm gonna blow them out and let the smoke be sucked into the machine, and let's see if it works. But I also wanna show you this. This should theoretically have 12 volts coming out of it, and it's one of these like RC cars, RC plane kind of connector dealios. So I can just plug this into something on my desk very easily. It just kind of runs down. So let's give it a shot. Oh, not bad. Just kind of an air freshener right now here. Yeah, not bad. And like I was saying, it should give me 12 volts. Oh, and the fan doesn't have to be on. Yeah, there you go. So as long as the unit's getting power, this thing will produce 12 volts. Pretty cool. Now it's time to see if this thing even fits. So the idea is it kind of just, yeah. Kind of just goes like that. That'll work. I'm gonna secure it, of course, but that's the idea. Oh, one more thing. This part right here is supposed to have a clip, but I totally botched the measurements up here. And from here I measured from the 150 millimeters of the fan frame, so like where the frame actually ends. Here I measured from the screws. So the hole up here is like right up against the body. It doesn't leave any space for the clip. We're just gonna leave it at that and not come and redesign it. So I'm just gonna literally tape this thing to the monitor stand and hope for the best. Yeah, that's pretty good. I have no problems with that. I know you might say something about, it doesn't reach all the way to the floor, but you know what? Shut up. Let's test it on some actual soldering and see how it does. Oh, that's beautiful. That is exactly what I wanted to see. Awesome. See that? That is just broken. Don't buy cheap Amazon camera tripods, I guess. Or if you do, just remember that electrical tape fixes all of your problems. All of them. If you'd like to help me buy a better camera tripod, consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you. So I'd say the tests were pretty successful. I'm really happy with this thing, and I think it's going to be very, very helpful as I start to do more electronics projects, especially for this channel. Like, for example, I really wanted to go back and revisit. I was trying to build an amplifier, like a power amplifier from scratch, at least 250 watts per channel. And that will require a lot of soldering. And I also like the little power feature I've added. Like, let's say I wanted to, power a $100 fan from hell that draws 7 amps. I can do that very easily now. Watch. See, plugged in just like that. I've got the power supply turned off at the wall. So I can kind of just, I really don't want to get my fingers caught. Okay, I can just like that. Pretty cool. And now I can, and there you go. Just like that. 20 amps, 12 volts, right from there. It's pretty cool, and it just disconnects just like that. Super easy. And honestly, having this here just means one less thing to worry about. You know, instead of inhaling toxic fumes, I have to only focus on the dangers of high voltage. And that's a win-win, you know. The fewer concerns you've got on your mind, usually the better your life is. So no longer have to worry about lead. Pretty cool. I think it's safe to say that with something like this, I'm gonna start doing a whole lot more electronics. So make sure to stick around for that. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Oh, and it's time to get a new camera stand. All right.